Okay. We will start with the first hand I see, which is Kyle Goon, please.
Hey, Wes. Obviously, a lot of challenges, unexpected challenges this year. How do you kind of digest it all and your place with the Lakers that you had this year?
You asked that question in a different way. Kind of, I quite fully follow.
Oh, okay. I guess what did you make of your role on this team this year, and how does it kind of influence your thoughts about this summer and the future you may have with this team possibly?
I mean, there's no question in my mind, in my heart, that I want to run it back. And, as far as my role and, the ups and downs of the season, I don't take any of it personally. I like to be a straight shooter and call a spade a spade. And so in order to do that, you have to have personal accountability. And I have no problem, man. I have no problem owning up to that, which was, some of the inconsistent play that I had. But at the same time, you have to recognize the situations that you're in, recognize the situation that's around you. And, every team, just outside of, the world, I'm just speaking in the sports world, had to deal with COVID and how much that changed off-season protocols and off-season training and in-season training and in-season protocols and all that kind of stuff. For me, I do a lot of grinding in the off-season. I work, and I come into training camp with a good established rhythm. And you know what, just like everybody, that wasn't able to be a thing. So, I definitely take ownership on my play, but at the same time, I'm also, honest with what not only myself, but everybody else had to deal with. So, obviously I feel and know that I could have played better, but at the same time, I do know that I brought everything that I had. I left it on the court every single night and showed flashes of who I can be, what I can be, who I am, in certain situations. And, like I said, to start this up, there's no doubt that, I want to run it back.
Okay, Dave McMenamin, please.
Hey, Wes, LeBron told us about a conversation he had with you, I guess, in the locker room sometime post-game after Game 6. And he said, what bothers him the most is that you guys never seemingly got a chance to be at full strength, find a rhythm, reach your full potential. And it's kind of obvious now that the season's over. Like we saw this from February where the injuries were mounting, but you guys never really let go of the rope. What was it like to kind of push through whatever the new challenge was you guys faced as a group and still try to find some sort of momentum?
Yeah, it was tough. It was absolutely tough. I know I remember the conversation, because, I think I told it first, man, I'm hurt. I just wish that, I told them right off the bat, I was like, I want to run this back so bad. And just like in general, and, he said, what he told you guys. And it's true. We all felt that way. And the reason why, like you said, to your point, we didn't let go of the rope is because we just had that, we had a faith, these guys, as a championship DNA, the veterans that, like myself and guys that were brought in that didn't win the championship last year, had that DNA of being tough-minded, hard-nosed, and just going after it, doing what it takes to win. And you always have what ifs. You always have those thoughts, what if? I still think about the what if I never would have tore my Achilles with that Portland team that we had. But, the day, injuries, they took us out, but we continued to fight. And I think that's just the pedigree. That's the expectation that when you throw that Laker uniform on, when you're a part of this organization, that it's going to be the next man up. Obviously, it was less than ideal. You know, we stay healthy all season. Who knows? But that definitely will always be something that will be thought about, which is, like I said, you know, want to run it back.
Okay, Dan Woike, please.
Hey, Wes, I think I speak for all of us when I say we appreciate your candor all season long and doing this stuff. This is maybe a hard question to answer, but I'm curious just from a human being level, kind of dating back to when everything stopped last March. What's it been like to live through this as a basketball player, to have to, not have to, but to take on social issues and then to have to play through a pandemic with a compressed schedule, personal risk, et cetera. How stressful of a year has this been on guys? Year plus, I guess.
Well, we can't take away those that had it way harder than we did. You know, we can't dismiss that or belittle that, but I do understand where you're going with it as basketball players. You know, we're athletes. You're just apt to a rhythm. You know, you're apt to a routine. You know, you get up, you work out, you eat you shake, you take your nap, you hang out with your kids, you work out again. You know, we're creatures of habit. And, you know, when the pandemic hit, when the social injustice stuff just was spewing over and over, you know, you became human. You became human, which obviously we always are, but you have to look at things in a little bit more perspective, where it's like so much of us, basketball is our center focus, center priority. And when that was taken away, guys had to find themselves. You know, what was important to you? Community. You know, those of us that are, you know, raising children, you know, the world, you look at the world differently, you know, for not only for yourself, protection, safety, education. How can we make sure that this is, you know, the best possible, freest, safest, equal, you know, societies that we all come from? You know, you kind of got to get thrown into that role of a leader when you weren't expected to. And so at the same time, prepare for something that you have no idea if and when is going to start again. It was definitely stressful, and it definitely weighed on a lot of people. It weighed on me. But I had a great team, great support system, great family, that I was able to navigate through it. And, you know, I was blessed.
Okay, Mike Trudell, please.
Hey, Wesley, thanks for that one. If I could steer it back to basketball just for a second, wondering on the offensive side of the court, when you're playing with LeBron and AD, and it seems like there's, you know, those, you can always get a shot, right? One way or the other, whether a double team, whatever. What do you guys think has to keep happening or evolve offensively if one of those guys isn't available or when one is sitting? And how has that been with your experience with other teams when there are stars and that whole process on the offensive side of the court?
I mean, a lot of that came with what we couldn't do much about is repetitions, is practice reps. It's, you know, getting in the gym. It's being able to just have those nuances of tweaks in live practice situations that, you know, you can't do. You know, it was a condensed season. It was a shortened season. For most of it, we played every other day, you know, with travel, which, you know, doesn't leave you much time to practice and go hard and compete in practice and play live in practice and play 5-on-5 and 4-on-4, whatever it is in practice, so that you can see those live looks, because you got to preserve your legs, you got to preserve your contact for when it really matters, which is in the game. So a lot of our time, we were spent, you know, especially when the lineups were changing and guys were in and out and superstars and megastars are in and out of the lineup, you know, games almost kind of were practices for us. You know, we played, I don't know how many rotations that had never been on the court together at the same time. So it was always a learning experience for us. And that's why I just feel like, you know, I feel more comfortable now, you know, I think those guys felt more comfortable with me, understanding situations and moments, spots, and how to attack. You know, you play against these guys and you feel that they play one way. And then when you play with them, you realize that, yeah, they play one way, but they also have more to them. And how can you bring that to the table? And it's tough to do without having pickup, you know, playing live in practice, going against certain situations for, you know, maybe a 2-3 day practice as opposed to game off, game off, game off.
All righty. I think we're all set. Thank you so much, Wes.
All right. Thank you all season. I appreciate it.